Jackie, I'm glad I was paying attention because the school system sent out this glowing, flowery email about how Heroes Pay is going out to Caddo educators of $1,000 in June, and they're excited. But I watched you, and you're ticked. Explain why.
Well, because I just want to know who they think a hero is. You know, they had a very selective definition of what they thought a hero should be, and in doing that, it was very misogynistic and myopic in their take on that.
Why do you say that?
Because first of all, it wasn't a hero incentive; it was an attendance incentive, and it was so bizarre. It was an attendance incentive that was devised in March instead of when the beginning of the school year. So anybody missed over 90%, it would be excluded, and that included people that had a baby. You know, right now there's people that are pregnant that will be expecting in April and May, and because they will be out over 17 days, I know of no maternity leave that is less than 17 days. They will be excluded. Now, they've been excluded this whole time, been exposed to COVID this entire time, they and their fetus, but yet they're going to be excluded.
You sounded like a lawsuit is imminent. Is that part of the plan?
Absolutely.
And you also used the words "a day of action." We have voted to approve a day of action. Explain that.
Let me explain that. It's not a. It could be days of action. This is just absolutely a sign of such disrespect that it has to be met with something. And that this entire year we have struggled. We have. And to try to keep this school system going under the worst circumstances, and we're met with this. Don't.
Hang on a second, Miss Jackie. Your phone's cutting in and out. Are you still there?
Yes, I am. You can't hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
If you could repeat like the last 10 seconds of what it was you had to say, because it was a bit choppy.
I said that it was more than a day of action. It could be possibly more. This is just simply a expression of our anger, our unhappiness, of the fact that this district is treating our employees with such disrespect. We've done everything we can to keep this going this year, and under the worst of circumstances. And what the district does, it's clearly a sign of gross disrespect.
Miss Jackie, 5 of the Caddo School Board members are in fact female. Do you think they're misogynistic by nature, or you think they got tricked into it?
I think there's a number of things. I think I've seen this board literally capitulate over and over and over again, and I've seen it more this year than I've ever seen it. I think there are loyalties to certain affiliations. I think it's part of that, and it's just so unfortunate.
I'm sorry, capitulates to whom?
To their own allegiances, and for us, it's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate they can't see that they are of the Board of Education, that they are there to make sure that we have quality public education, that they're not there to outsource what we do. They're not there. They have since 2012. They have completely eroded their responsibilities, and this is the capitulation of it right here.
So,
this is just when
once again, pardon me. You said they capitulated to their allegiance. Who are they allegiant to? Did they capitulate to the superintendent? Did they capitulate to big business? Did they capitulate to their constituents? Who exactly do you think?
Any and all except their constituents, because their constituents have children in public education. If anybody went and asked a parent, is it okay to deny your teacher that has gone up there and worked every single day and that had a baby in their womb, and then to deny them? I doubt seriously there's any parent out there that would do that. So any and all except for that.
You said you voted for a day of action. What could a day of action mean? Is that a strike? Is that a call in sick? Give me the options.
It's those plus others. That will be announced. That will be announced to our members this week.
And you said you're not going to interrupt. You're not going to interrupt spring testing. You're trying to work that around that. But you could actually be on strike over this.
Aaron, you've been knowing me for a long time. Have you ever heard me say that?
No. Well, day of action sounds strong. You sounded
Ms.
really
Jackie,
angry.
we've known you a long time, and you've never had a day of action before. That's why we're asking you to define it for us.
We have not. So that should tell you that this is that moment. This is that moment in time when we are telling this school board that we have had enough. We have done our best to work with you. Whenever it was difficult to come back to school, our members voted to come back to school. When many people were angry with us for coming back, we went back to school, and this is what this school district does. This is the most bizarre, insulting, ridiculous behavior of grown people I have ever experienced in my time of doing my job.
What would you ask of the superintendent today? What would you say to him?
The same thing I said to him from the very beginning. First of all, talk to us first before you do these kinds of things. And this isn't the first time we have dealt with this type of behavior. This is not. It is, we continue to do with misogynistic behavior in this district. They can't see it because of who they are.
Do you sense you are as much at odds with Dr. Gorey as you are the school board?
Absolutely. They wouldn't do it if he hadn't called for it.
Your anger scale today, 1 to 10. 10 being you're really pissed.
She's at a 10. I'm at a 2 for her.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more than anger. It is determination. It's an understanding that there's no other place for us to go than this. That we have been put in a position, and I've said it many times. If you find me there, that's where you put me. He finds me there. They find me there. They find this organization there because that is where they put us. We are an organization primarily made up of women. Do you think I would look the other way? I never have. So why would you think I would now? What would lead you to believe that I would look the other way? Whenever we have senior citizens, 70-year-olds, that were teaching, and their doctor said, you can't come back to work in a pandemic, and they asked to be virtual, and you said no. And so instead of resigning or retiring, the doctor writes them a medical leave note based on their condition, and then you deny them this. If you had emergency open heart surgery and you've been working for the district for 20 years and you deny them this, who in their right mind that has any heart or feeling could look the other way? I would ask the public. You asked us to come back. We did. Now stand up for us.